Have you ever noticed how almost everyone says they want peace, but they go about their days doing the exact opposite? They wake up and immediately check their phone, compare themselves to people they don't even know, complain about things they can't control, and end the day tired without really knowing why. Stoicism begins right here at that uncomfortable point where you realize most of your suffering doesn't come from the world, but from how you react to it. And that changes everything. Because if the problem isn't out there, then the solution isn't either. Living peacefully, from a Stoic perspective, isn't about running from reality or pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's about stopping the fight against what you can't control and using your energy intelligently. It sounds simple, but almost no one does it. Most people live as if the universe owes them, as if it is obligated to go along with their plans, desires, and expectations. When that doesn't happen, frustration, anger, and anxiety follow. The Stoic cuts this cycle off at the root. They understand that life never promised comfort, perfect fairness, or happy endings. It promised change. That's it. Anything beyond that is fantasy. When you truly accept this, something curious happens. You stop feeling personally attacked by every problem. The traffic isn't against you. Criticism isn't an assault on your identity. A delay isn't a sign that everything's going wrong. It's just life happening. And the sooner you understand that, the less weight you carry. One of the pillars of Stoicism is separating what is under your control from what isn't. This idea may sound cliché, but it's ignored all the time. You can't control the weather, the past, other people's behavior, or the final outcome of many situations. But you do control your choices, your attitudes, your posture in the face of what comes your way. When you try to control the uncontrollable, you pay a high price in mental exhaustion. When you focus on what does depend on you, something organizes itself within, peace begins. There, not because problems disappear, but because you stop feeding useless conflicts. Think about how many times you mentally replay a conversation that's already over, imagining better comebacks, different scenarios, late victories. It changes nothing, it only steals your present. The Stoic notices this pattern and interrupts it. They don't spend energy where there's no return. That's not coldness, it's clarity. Another essential point is understanding that discomfort is part of life. Running from it creates more suffering, not less. The constant attempt to feel good all the time breeds emotional fragility. The Stoic trains the opposite. They accept discomfort as part of the journey. No drama, no romanticizing, no playing the victim. They just deal with it. This builds a quiet strength. When something goes wrong, they don't ask, "Why me?" but "What can be done now?" That shift in question changes everything. The mind stops spinning in circles and starts taking action. And action, even in small steps, restores a sense of internal control. Stoic peace isn't the absence of emotion. It's the absence of unnecessary internal chaos. You feel anger, sadness, fear, but you don't let them rule you. There's a space between what happens and how you respond. In that space lies your freedom. Most people react automatically as if they have no choice. The Stoic trains precisely that interval. They breathe, observe, decide. Sometimes the best response is to act. Other times, to stay silent. Other times, to walk away. What matters is that the response is conscious, not impulsive. This prevents regrets and unnecessary wear and tear. Another rarely mentioned aspect is the relationship with time. Stoicism constantly reminds us that life is finite, not as a threat, but as a reminder. When you understand your time is limited, you stop wasting it on petty arguments, empty comparisons, and unrealistic expectations. You start choosing more carefully where to place your attention. Attention is life. Whatever you give your attention to grows inside you. If you feed worry, it grows. If you feed presence, it grows. The Stoic uses this awareness to live more intentionally. They don't postpone living while waiting for the perfect moment, because they know it doesn't exist. What exists is now, with what's available. Living peacefully also involves accepting who you are today, without hating yourself for not yet being who you'd like to be. This isn't about complacency, but honesty. The Stoic works to evolve, but without attacking themselves internally. They understand that real change is a process, not an assault. This attitude reduces self-sabotage and increases consistency. Small actions done regularly transform more than big emotional promises. Peace arises when you stop fighting against yourself, when your actions begin to align with your values, even on difficult days. This creates a sense of integrity that no external approval can replace. You sleep better because you're not betraying what you believe is right. Even when you make a mistake, you learn and move on. No theta, no excessive guilt, just a course correction. Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life, but it offers something more solid, a less agitated mind, a heart less hostage to circumstances, a firmer posture in the face of life's natural instability. This peace isn't loud, doesn't come in ready-made phrases, doesn't seek attention. It shows up in small daily choices, in not responding to everything, in not reacting to everything, in knowing when to persist and when to let go. It's a silent art, built from the inside out. And the more you practice, the more you realize that true tranquility doesn't depend on the world getting itself together, but on you stopping the inner chaos. When you start applying this in your daily life, you realize that living in peace isn't something distant or mystical. It's practical. It's in the small choices almost no one notices. It's in not joining every argument. It's in not explaining everything to everyone. It's in accepting that some people will never understand you, and that's okay. The Stoic doesn't spend their life constantly seeking validation. They know who they are, they know what makes sense to them, and they move forward. This drastically reduces anxiety because a lot of anxiety comes from the desire for control and approval. When those two fade, inner space remains, and inner space is peace. Another central point is how you deal with expectations. Expectation is a silent trap. You create a mental scenario, cling to it, and suffer when reality doesn't match. The Stoic learns to act without clinging to the outcome. They do what is within their reach with care and responsibility, but accept any result with maturity. This doesn't make the person passive. On the contrary, they become more effective because they don't freeze when things deviate from the plan. They adapt. Adaptation is one of humanity's greatest strengths. Those who don't adapt stiffen. Those who stiffen break. Peace also lies in accepting limits. Limits of energy, emotional limits, limits of time. You don't have to handle everything. You don't have to solve your whole life today. You don't have to save anyone. Stoicism teaches you to carry only what is yours. The rest, you let go. This prevents excessive guilt and burnout. Many people live exhausted because they're trying to carry weights that were never theirs. When you learn to differentiate responsibility from attachment, something lightens within. Another important aspect is inner silence. The mind likes noise. It creates stories, replays dialogues, anticipates tragedies. The Stoic observes this movement without confusing themselves with it. A thought is not an order. An emotion is not a command. You can feel something and still choose not to act. This training takes time, but it works. Over time, you begin to notice thoughts arising and passing away without clinging to them. This reduces reactivity, reduces wear and tear, reduces drama. Living in peace isn't living without problems, it's living without unnecessary internal soap operas. There's also the relationship with the past. The Stoic doesn't live there. They learn from what happened, correct what's possible, and move on. Staying stuck in the past is trying to change something that's already over. This generates constant frustration. The same applies to living only in the future. Anxiety is born from this displacement. Peace is in the present, in what can be done now with what exists now. Not more, not less. This presence isn't magical, it's training. You bring your attention back every time you notice it has wandered, without fighting yourself, just bringing it back. Over time, it becomes a habit. Another strong point is the relationship with the ego. The ego wants to win, to be seen, to be recognized. The Stoic understands that feeding this too much comes at a high cost. Not every offense needs a response. Not every victory needs to be displayed. Not every opinion needs to be defended. The more you try to protect your image, the more fragile you become. When you let go of that need, you gain lightness. Peace comes when you don't have to prove anything all the time. You simply live. There's also the acceptance of impermanence. Everything passes. Good situations pass. Bad situations pass. People change. Phases end. Resisting this generates suffering. Accepting it brings serenity. This doesn't take away the importance of what you experience, it just removes excessive attachment. You enjoy what's good without fear of losing it. You face what's difficult without despair. This posture creates internal stability even in unstable environments. Stoicism also values right action, even when no one is watching. This generates self-respect. When you act according to your values, your mind becomes calmer. There's no internal conflict. You might make mistakes, but you know you're trying to do your best within what's possible. This internal coherence is a quiet source of peace, far more solid than external praise. And finally, living in peace requires constant practice. It's not something you understand once and that's it. It's a daily exercise. You will fail. You will react poorly. You will get irritated. And that's okay. What's important is to notice, adjust, and move on, without self-punishment, without giving up. The secret art of living in peace in Stoicism isn't about controlling the world, it's about governing yourself. And when you start doing that, the world can remain chaotic, but you don't have to be. If this video made sense to you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. See you in the next one.